Hey everyone, Jason here with another Nanocoaster video. Today I'm going to be assembling Lightning Run from Kentucky Kingdom. This Chance Hyper GTX coaster is a coaster that most coaster enthusiasts wish that more parks would build. However, this is the only one built. However, it packs quite a punch for such a small footprint. With this Nanocoaster, it's going to be pretty simple. We have one sheet of track pieces here that we need to cut out, a simple base, and the instructions are just one-sided. There's nothing here on the back. The first step before we get started is going to be to peel off the brown paper here on the base. This is a step that a lot of people forget to do, but it's pretty important so that we can have this plain black base here. So we'll peel this off of both sides. And there we have the paper peeled off of the base to reveal the plain base. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you know that one of the steps I like to add is to add a large logo to the base. Each Nanocoaster does come with a little tag there with the logo on it. However, I like to have something a little bit larger. And so I use a vinyl cutter here to cut out the Lightning Run logo. With each of the Nanocoasters, you kind of have to just figure out what you can fit on the base. Sometimes it's going to be something pretty small. However, with Lightning Run, there's actually quite a bit of empty space here on the base that's going to allow me to set the logo in here. So I've already pre-measured and cut the logo out, and I'm going to press that here onto the base. Now this larger logo is not something that's included with the kit. However, if you have access to a vinyl cutter, I will include a link to the SVG below that'll allow you to cut out your own logo if that's something you're interested in. And that's something that I try to include with each of my videos. So right there you can see we have the larger logo now on the base plate. Now before we begin installing the track, we're going to need to go through and cut out all of the pieces. I'm not going to just do this one at a time. I'm actually going to just cut them all out really quickly, get them laid out nice on the table. That way the pieces we need will be handy. I'm going to use a pair of just little wire cutters here that I've purchased from Amazon. They make it really easy to just cut each of the pieces out. So I'm just going to quickly cut them out and then we'll jump into track assembly. Now that we have the 5 track pieces, the station, and the sign cut out, we'll begin track assembly. So the first track piece we're going to install is going to be this one right here. This piece has a long tab here with 2 small ones on this end and then a small one on this end. This is going to be the final brake run and then the turnaround into the station. To install this, we'll actually start with the widest tab and insert that here on the base on this end. And then we'll have to bend the track just a little bit to get the tab right before it turns into that final brake run. The nice thing, you can't really see it in the video I don't think, but there is the track layout kind of engraved there on the track or on the base plate, so you'll be able to bend the track just a little bit to get it to match up with that. Now as we drop this in and get it into place, we'll just want to bend over these tabs on the bottom to hold it there. So we'll start with this little one and we'll move on to the big one here. And then here we need to bend this track around for the turnaround portion. Drop the first tab into place and then drop the second tab into place. We'll press those down and bend those over as well. Now once you get these pieces in, you may need to do a little bit of reshaping here. You'll notice here at this end it's not quite as round as it probably should be, but once it's in there, I can just simply come in here. This is pretty flexible metal. I can just come in here and kind of shape it the way that it should be so that it matches up with the track layout on the base plate. So once we get it like that, now you can see it's a little bit more rounded. It looks more the way it should. The second track piece is going to be installed here with step 3, and it's going to be this piece right here where you have these 2 medium tabs, and then next to that you have 1 small one, and then at the far end you have 2 more small ones. The 2 medium tabs are going to connect to the end next to the piece that we just installed. So we're going to first drop those 2 in, and that's actually going to allow 3 of them to line up real easily. Then we're going to have to bend this track piece around once again to follow the track layout on the base plate. drop the next tab in and then bend it back the other way to do the next piece. Once we get that in, we'll bend over these tabs. And once again, if you look at this, you'll notice that it's kind of squared off. It's not rounded like it should be. So to fix that, I'm just gonna kind of come in here and using my fingers, I'm gonna sculpt this around the track layout that's on the base plate. So there you can see that the track now follows the track layout on the base plate, and the second piece of track is installed. Step 4 is gonna give us our third piece of track, which is gonna be this one with the 2 small airtime hills. This one you'll also notice has 3 of the medium tabs and 1 of the small tabs. If you can't quite figure out which piece it is, just looking at the paper, you may want to look at the base plate. So this one I can just follow the track around and see that the next piece is going to have these 3 medium tabs, where if I look at the 2 track pieces I have left, this is the only one that fits that mold. And so once again, picking up right where we left off before, I'm going to drop the single tab in place. Following the track layout around, I'll drop the first medium tab into the slot where it goes. Curve it around again to the next medium slot, and drop that one in, and then do the last curve into the final slot. Once we get that pressed in, we'll bend over the tabs underneath. And looking at that one, it actually followed the track layout pretty well. That's kind of a squared off layout, so it just kind of works. For step 5, we're going to use this piece here, which is the only piece that you have left besides the first lift hill. So to continue with this track piece, we'll just continue working where we left off before. Once again, drop in the first slot, bend this around the track layout there to drop in the second slot, and then the third slot. Continue going around to the 4th slot, and then the 5th slot. And then the last one may be a little bit tricky because it actually goes underneath the previous piece that we put in place. So we have this last medium slot here that if you look, it's actually going to come under this hill right here. So as we bend that one around, we want to make sure that we can just slide it under there and drop it into place. It actually went in pretty easily. Once we have that all put in, we'll bend these pieces into place. Make sure that the track layout looks good. There's a few places we're going to need to bend this here just to get it to match up a little bit. And that's going to lead us to step 6, which is going to be our final track piece. The final track piece is going to be the station with the first drop into the first airtime hill. So once again, we'll continue right here where we left off and drop in these 2 small tabs to continue that straight piece. Then we'll kind of bend this around towards the back edge of the base. Continue around to this first drop. And then bend the tabs underneath into place. And that piece actually has one extra step as well. If you notice right here on the first drop, there's these slanted pieces here. Those are supports that are actually supposed to bend out. To do that, it's typically easier to use a pair of needle nose pliers where you can just kind of grab the top and then bend that out with a 90-degree angle on each of those supports. And there we have the completed track layout for the Lightning Run Nanocoaster. The last 2 pieces to install are going to be, first of all, the little sign right here, which we can just drop into place, bend it backwards a little bit, and fold over the bottom. And then we have the station. With every Nanocoaster, every station is the same. They come looking like this, and you'll actually fold it over to look kind of like a little house. Looks like kind of like the little houses from the Monopoly game. Get it shaped just like that, and then drop that into place over the station. Unlike most Nanocoasters, this actually does kind of look like the Lightning Run station. It kind of just has this shaping to it, so it actually works really well with this one. And so there we have the completed Lightning Run Nanocoaster from Kentucky Kingdom, once again with my logo added. Now if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that one other step that I like to do at the end is to add a felt bottom. That's just because we have all these little metal tabs down here. You put it on the table or on a wood surface. It could scratch it up if you slide it around. This felt is available on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. You can usually get more than one nano coaster out of it. You'll notice I've already cut the Voyage out of here, and we're gonna be able to get Lightning Run out of it as well. So to do this, you first line up your nano coaster on a couple of the edges here so that you don't have to cut the whole thing. We'll grab a pencil here and just kind of trace right around the nano coaster. And then we'll get a pair of scissors and we'll cut just inside that outline. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that you don't want to have extra felt hanging off the edge. You can kind of trim it off, but it's easier if you just don't have it, even if you cut just a little bit on the inside of the base. And so there we have our felt cut to the size of this nano coaster. To apply it, we're going to peel off some of this adhesive backing and just tear that away. And then we'll line up the nano coaster covering the piece of felt and press it on. That's going to attach the one end here. From there, you can peel away the rest of the backing and then use a table surface or a table edge just to kind of run it. Make sure it stays lined up with the bottom of the coaster. We'll just kind of press that on just like that. And that applies a nice felt bottom to the model so that you can now slide it around on a table or on a surface without scratching it up. Covers up the little tabs. Ultimately a really cool little nano coaster model. One of the easier ones that I've assembled, honestly. Some of the metal ones can get a little bit tricky. This one actually kind of just came together really simple. And that's one of the reasons it's such a short video. Some of these videos have been 20 or 30 minutes long. This one's not going to be that long. It's a pretty quick model, put it together in 15 to 20 minutes. But in the end, I'm pretty happy with the result here. So that's Lightning Run Nanocoaster, once again from Kentucky Kingdom. This can be purchased at the park for about $35. Not available online as far as I'm aware, but you may be able to find one on eBay. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, that's okay as well. Thanks and have a great day.